Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I have a bit of an update video for you guys. I know this is one that you have been requesting for a little bit, but basically this video is just going to kind of be an update about my weight loss and fitness and stuff, because if you have been following me for a little bit, maybe the past year or so, you would know, or even longer than that, you would know that I started a whole weight loss journey, fitness journey at the beginning of this year. And you know, 2018 is coming to an end. So it's been a fun, crazy ride. And you know, with that being said, now it's time for some new goals and things have changed, and kind of want to keep you guys updated because I know I get a lot of questions daily about, you know, my weight loss and my fitness and stuff like that. So I want to make this video to just fill you guys in on where I'm at, exactly what my next steps are, what I've been doing these past few months, and all of that good stuff. So basically just like a breakdown in case, you know, you need to play catch up. Maybe you're new to my channel. I started this whole process of trying to change my lifestyle and everything around the beginning of this year. It was a really slow start, and I basically lost close to 30 pounds by doing a macronutrient counting approach. And I had a lot of help from Gauge Girl Training. If you're not following her on Instagram, follow her. Christina's awesome. And that really helped me understand food, what food is composed of, exactly what you should be eating in order to meet specific goals. And then along with that, along with the nutrition, comes the exercise part. So implementing workouts, cardio, strength training, and all of that jazz. So this has been about, to lose the weight, it was about 7 to 8 months, I would say. So it was slow, it was steady, but at a good pace. I feel really happy with the amount of progress I made in that amount of time. Once I lost the weight, I was really happy with where I was at. So once I had hit that 7-8 month mark, I was happy with my weight loss. For the past maybe almost 12 to 16 weeks, I kind of just stopped my dieting phase, meaning I was in a caloric deficit because I was wanting to drop weight. And once I was at a point where I felt really good, I was honestly, and I still am really happy with my physique and my energy level, and you know, I feel like my strength has increased a little bit. I wanted to take a break from dieting, meaning I didn't want to be in a caloric deficit any longer, which is also something too that I think is really important to recognize, especially for us women who we hear like jokingly sometimes in movies or in pop culture, like, oh, I'm on a diet, like someone's always on a diet. And it's really important to recognize that our bodies are not made to function to be constantly in a caloric deficit or constantly perpetually dieting. So if that is something that you tend to do and you feel like you don't see any results ever, maybe take a step back, maybe take a break. I am not a nutritionist, trainer, or anything like that, but from what I learned from myself and my body, I saw where the plateaus happen, and you either need to take a step back and then revisit your diet for a little bit, you know, just like a short break, or get cut even further, but be realistic about how much you're cutting yourself in calories, because you don't want to be just bare minimum. At least I wouldn't think that's a healthy way to live, or even a happy way to live, to be at the bare minimum and barely eating, because you're gonna feel real crappy. But anyways, so once I stopped my dieting break, you know, I'll kind of fill you in on exactly what I was eating. So for those of you who don't know, I was dieting my last caloric deficit. I was around 1350 calories, and I was doing maybe about 100 grams of carbs, I think 110 grams of carbs, 45 grams of fat, and 120 grams of protein. So that was more or less where I was at during my last dieting phase. During my maintenance, what I have been doing for these past 3 to 4 months, I've been eating about 16 to 1800 calories, and I was doing 120 grams of protein, 45 to 50 grams of fat, give or take, and I was about at 160 to 180 grams of carbs. So I got to increase, you know, a little bit on some of those numbers. Protein pretty much stays the same, and I'm super proud of myself. I maintain my weight. I fluctuate between like 121 to 123, give or take, just depending on like water and stuff like that. But yeah, for the past 12 to almost 16 weeks, somewhere around that range. I don't remember the exact time that I stopped or started to gradually increase my calories. It's been just steady and it's been good. And for those of you who again have been following me for a little bit, or maybe you don't know, I had not, during this time, my whole weight loss journey and then my maintenance period, I had still yet to step foot in a gym. All my workouts were at home base. All my cardio and strength training were at home. So for those who say, you know, you need to go to the gym or lose weight, it's not necessarily true. A lot of it is nutrition, and you'd be surprised that you can get really good workouts in at home, especially when you are in like a weight loss type of phase. So with that being said, I am so thankful and just so appreciative of all the help that I've received from like Christine at Gauge Girl Training, from you guys, and to have, you know, so much support, and you guys like kind of motivate me a lot. And not only that, but like I really have to like pat myself on the back, because this is just something like, if you told me 2 years ago like, oh, you're gonna like fall in love with like, you know, fitness and, you know, the way you eat and stuff like that, I would like just laugh in your face, because that was so not me a year ago. This was like the farthest thing from my mind. I did not care. I was able to just get by, and it was a wake-up call once I realized, okay, you're really getting out of shape for being in your 20s, and you gotta do something about it now. So now that the weight is off and I really slimmed down, I feel like I really leaned out, I'm now entering into a different phase of my fitness journey that I wanted to fill you guys in. What's gonna be the next step for me? And maybe some of you are maybe also taking this next step, so we can maybe do it together. But basically, since I leaned out so much, now I really want to focus on like building my strength, building my muscle. That was one thing too that really pushed me to start this whole process in the first place, is that I had no muscle, I had no strength. For those of you who don't know, me and my husband own a few rental companies, and sometimes I help with delivering, and our pieces are heavy, and when I would help him, it was just like I was completely useless. I might as well not have been there, because I had zero strength. And a lot of the times I get people, especially clients who, you know, come to me pretty often, they're like, you know, you weren't like fat or anything like that. And I can see where they say that, although, you know, pictures can be deceiving, or the way you dress and stuff. And I am a small person naturally, in the sense that I have like a small stature. But I would say that I was like maybe even skinny fat, in the sense that like, okay, maybe I didn't seem like I looked really overweight, but I had absolutely like no muscle. So that also was like something that I wasn't happy with at all, and I wanted to change. So at this point, I have gained a little bit of muscle. I can see it, I can feel it in my body. I have gained some strength, because I can definitely notice that I'm able to lift things and do things that I couldn't before. But now in this new phase, I want to increase that. So again, with the help of Gauge Girl, I am going to be now in a caloric surplus, and kind of changing my strength and exercise routine. And again, another huge accomplishment for me personally. I have this weird thing about gyms. That's kind of why I never stepped foot in a gym during this whole time period. I get very uncomfortable with the idea of gyms, because since I was someone who was so anti-fitness in the past, I feel like on the outside people can see that I'm like a phony or a newbie or something like that, and I get really insecure, and I feel like my confidence in a gym would just be really low, because I wouldn't know what to do with some of the machines. I don't know like if people are thinking like, oh my god, like, what is she doing? She's doing that wrong. I don't know. I have that type of like worry in the back of my mind. But in order for me to reach these new goals, I know I had to get over that. So this week, actually, for the first time, I stepped foot in a gym. I'm so thankful. My best friend, she too is on her own fitness journey, and she has a personal trainer, and they invited me along to their sessions so I can get comfortable with the idea of a gym. And you know, I wanted this to be a goal for the new year, but I said it in a Snapchat the other day. If you have goals for 2019, don't wait for 2019 to hit. You might as well just start them now, because what's the difference a few weeks earlier, you know? So one New Year's resolution's already getting knocked down. I'm really happy about that. And you know, it's really not that bad. I can see myself getting more comfortable as each session goes on, and I can see myself maybe having a gym membership soon. Who knows? But I do really feel confident about that now, and I'm so glad that I got over my, you know, little anxiety or phobia about it. So if you too are in that space, I highly recommend maybe going with a friend, going with someone that you are comfortable with, to just have them show you the ropes, maybe just, you know, work out with them a few times, and it really does help and get you eased into like a comfortable space. So that's my tip for you. So with now being able to go to a gym, have access to heavier weights, I can change my strength training. I don't know what my new strength training like program will look like just yet. I am going to be doing the Lean Gains program with Gauge Girl, which does come with a bundle with a strength training like workout regimen as well. So once I get that, I'll fill you guys in on exactly like what type of strength I'm doing. But for the meantime, and some of the questions, because I had you guys ask me some questions on Instagram, I'll answer like and tell you what I have been doing here at home. And as far as like the nutrition part in this new phase of my health and fitness journey, I will be upping my calories. I, again, am still doing the macros approach, because for me that has just been the biggest like eye-opener and so helpful. During this whole maintenance phase, I really haven't been so strict about logging my food, because at this point it's a lot, it's so intuitive now. Like I can pretty much see like a plate of food and kind of know exactly like where I'm getting my nutrients from, exactly how much of what I'm eating. So it's really crazy how well you can start to understand food with macronutrients. But yeah, so I'll be increasing my calories to about 19 some right now, upping my protein to about 140 grams, upping my fat to about 65 grams, and upping my carbs for now, for like as we're starting off, to about 190, and then eventually getting to a point where they're now even 75 grams more, but that'll have to be added on slowly, because with a caloric surplus, yes, it's to gain muscle, like lean muscle mass, but I mean, you're eating more, so you are gonna tend to gain like weight, maybe even a little bit of body fat, but the goal is to not gain too much body fat and just to gain more muscle. So it's gonna be interesting. It's definitely a different change of pace, and I think for most people, and hopefully for most people, once you've like gone through the whole weight loss process and you're at a point where you want to change your goals, I don't even really care about the number on the scale anymore. It's more about like what I see and how I feel, you know, like how my clothes are fitting me, how I look at certain angles, like, you know, am I strong enough to do this? Am I have enough endurance to do that? So that's kind of now how I'm measuring my fitness progress, not so much the number on the scale, because it's no longer a issue for me, I guess, if that makes sense. So now let's go and answer some questions, because I think this is like the meat of everything. Let's see. So traveldestin_ asks, what was your calorie deficit when you first started your fitness journey? When I very first started my fitness journey, my weight loss, I did not give myself a dramatic cut in calories. At least I don't think I did, because to be honest, I don't really know exactly how many calories I was eating on average before the start of all this. But I did start off at about maybe 1,600, then got cut down to about 1,400, and like I said, the last bit of my dieting was around 1,300. Mercedes_Garza asks, what would your top 3 tips be to someone getting into fitness or weight loss? Number 1 is take it slow. There is no quick fixes, fad diets, whatever. It's just not gonna work for you in the long run. You'll gain everything back if you do fall off the bandwagon, which I don't like that saying. 2 is, what would be my second tip? I guess not to be so hard on yourself, because if you're someone who is definitely new to all of this, it's gonna feel foreign, it's gonna feel weird, but don't be so hard on like, you know, why am I not seeing progress, like this and that, especially if it's only been such a short time period. Give yourself a good like 2 to 3 months to really see if changes are being made. And then the third thing is make sure you're doing it for yourself and not for anyone else, because it really is true what they say. You're not gonna accomplish anything just because you're trying to make someone else happy. This has to be for your own happiness, and set that time aside. I know for us women, you know, some of us are moms, some of us work full-time jobs, some of us have other responsibilities, and we feel like we're being selfish when we take that hour out of the day to just, you know, do something good for ourselves. But don't feel bad about it. It's okay to be selfish if it's in this way. Ola Poli asked, with your social media and freelance and wedding rentals jobs, how do you stay so motivated? Well, good question. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, I mean, I'm also a freelance makeup artist. That is my bread and butter. That is how I make my income. So I'm always busy with that on the weekends, which means I am allowed weekdays to be able to do stuff like this as far as make time to work out and everything. And then I do help my husband with our 2 other rental companies. So it's a lot when it comes to work at times, but in order to stay motivated, you again have to realize, like, I'm gonna be making time out of my day to do something good for myself that I know I need to do, and that is just gonna pay off in the long run. So sometimes you just need to tell yourself that in order to be better at time management. And to be honest, I think a lot of us would reach our goals and be able to fit things like this in, like personal goals, if we were just better at managing our time. And sometimes it's even about swallowing your pride and just asking for help, you know? I think a lot of us don't like to do that, but if like it's just 1 hour out of your day, you know, or if you can just find maybe some ways to help you, someone to help you, to, let's say if you have kids, to watch your children, or find a gym that has a daycare, or, you know, wake up earlier and go to the gym before work if that's the only time you have, or before school, or whatever it may be. You'd be surprised what you can fit into your day once you really rearrange and prioritize, you know, what's important to you. Nails by Audrey asks, has it been hard to buy new clothes since you lost weight? During my weight loss, it was very frustrating because I would buy new clothes and then I would drop a little bit more, so my inches would go down, and a lot of clothes were feeling, like the jeans I'm wearing right now are actually kind of too big for me, so, but I'm gonna keep them just in case. Definitely just need to like buy a belt for them, but it has been hard and it's tricky. But again, I feel thankful that I'm now at this point where I no longer feel like I'm gonna be dropping too much weight. I feel like I'll be here for a good while. Our Pav19 says, I'm not so educated on macros. What can you say about learning the basics? I want to lose weight. Macros seems very intimidating at first, but to be honest, it's not. And just the basics are, take the time to learn as much as you can about them. Because once you really understand what it means, like what a macronutrient is and how to count them, you're gonna be like laughing at yourself at like how hard you thought it would be. Because it's actually very, very simple. It's just, think of it as like knowing how to read a nutrition label. That's basically all you're gonna be learning how to do. And it's learning how to read those labels or what's in food to know how much of what you need to be eating for your body and for your goals. Victoria Loha, I think I'm saying that right, asks, do you work at a gym or a home? During my whole weight loss phase, up until this point, I've done only at-home workouts. Mel Sori asks, how long do you usually work out for? How many calories do you usually burn? So I always try to do at least an hour. At this point, 4 to 5 times a week. During my weight loss, I was around 5 to 6 times a week, but definitely no more than an hour. I don't think you need to do more than an hour. And during my weight loss, about 2 to 3 days of that was just strictly cardio or heavy cardio, and then the other 3 to 4 days were strength training with a little bit of HIIT at the end. That has been the same during my maintenance, except now I just do maybe 1 to 2 days of cardio, like steady cardio, meaning a jog or something, and then 2 to 3 days strength training, mainly with a little bit of HIIT on like maybe upper body days. Just leg days, I usually will just stick to legs. I don't do cardio in there too much. Mistina Jones asks, what app do you use to track your weight loss other than MyFitnessPal? The only other app that I can say I really use and that kind of helps me with fitness is my Fitbit app. I have the Fitbit Charge 2, and I believe I have the premium like Fitbit app. I'm not sure, like there's one you pay for. I think I have that one because that one breaks down like, you know, your activity level and how many calories you burn and stuff like that. But that's the only thing I really use. Claire_Aviles24 asks, did you take any supplements to help with your weight loss? And the answer to that is no. I did not take any fat burners. I did not take any pre-workouts. Tried them, didn't like them. If anything, supplement wise, I only take like protein powder to help me with like meeting my protein goals, and or for like a meal replacement or a snack. And BCAA is just to help with muscle recovery, and a little bit of extra glutamine also to help with muscle recovery, because I found that I was really, really sore sometimes, and that helps with the muscle soreness and having to repair muscle and not damage it. Ale Tirado, is that like right? Asks, what specific workouts do you do each day? I did follow Gauge Girl's at-home endomorph training plan for these past, yeah, like 12 weeks almost, because that really helped me guide me in what strength training to do along with my cardio. And then with cardio, I usually do HIIT, which I get from Fitness Blender videos here on YouTube. And then if I'm jogging, well, then I just run out the door and do a jog in my neighborhood. I usually will do like about a 4-mile jog. Jess XOXOO _ asks, what workouts do you do for your arms? They look so toned. First of all, thank you. And second of all, just like your basic, I guess like essential arm workouts, you know, like I do a lot of like lateral or like front raises for shoulders, a lot of, you know, tricep overhead extensions, bicep curls, just really the basics. And again, those were all in the Gauge Girl at Home Endomorph training plan. They have other training plans for your specific body type if you're an ectomorph or mesomorph, so I would definitely look into that if you're looking for some sort of guidance. But I also think a lot of it is just maybe genetics, because I feel like with what I do with my arms, I even noticed for myself, I was like, man, my arms are looking really like toned, and to my surprise, but everyone's body is different. I guess how your body leans out will be just dependent on how your body reacts to a weight loss, you know, routine or regimen. I just so happened to lean out and tone up my arms, I feel like in a fair amount of time, but basically it was just the basics. I can't read the last name because it got cut off in the screenshot, says, I've heard people track carbs and some track net carbs, which confuses me. What is right and what is wrong? So I heard this too, and I don't think there is a right or a wrong. I think it just depends on what type of diet are you on, because I do believe if you are on the ketogenic diet or the keto diet, you do need to track net carbs, so that's where tracking net carbs will come into play. But if you are someone that is just trying to watch your carb intake, you're not necessarily cutting out carbs completely. If you're on a macronutrient approach, then you only need to track carbs, because if you only track net carbs, I believe you do have the possibility of like going over or something. So it just depends, I think, on what diet you're following. Leslie _ blushing, hi Leslie, asks, what do you do on the days you don't feel like going to the gym? So since you guys know, like up until this point I hadn't gone to a gym, I'll change that into what do I do on the days I don't feel like working out. I have to kind of assess like where I'm at in the day. I like to work out in the morning, so if I wake up and I'm just like, oh, I don't feel like working out, I tell myself, okay, wait, you're just waking up. No one's gonna wanna work out the minute they wake up. So I'm like, okay, just get up, wash your face, go to the bathroom, drink some water, drink some coffee, and usually within like that 15-minute warm-up, I'm like, okay, like, yeah, let me get my workout in. I have time. What am I gonna do other than like just like mope around in the morning? If it's late at night, same thing. I'm like, okay, do I have enough energy to muster up a workout? You know, am I just being like spoiled or spoiling myself because it's late at night? If the answer is no, then definitely, you know, I'll like, okay, get the workout in, get it done. If my body is extremely sore, or if I have not slept for the amount of hours I need to function, or I have not eaten, or I am, you know, just physically and mentally drained, that's when I say, you know what, forget the workout, that's the last thing on my mind. Working out is important and it's so good for your body, but especially for weight loss, it's gonna be more about what you eat. So don't put so much focus on like, oh my God, I can't go to the gym today. Like if you really can't, like it's okay, don't beat yourself up. But rest days are important, and sometimes just saying, you know what, today is just not a day. Like I would rather not do a workout than like have a crappy workout, if that makes sense. She also asked, what workouts do you enjoy the most? To be honest, I don't know, because I kind of like them all. But I would for sure say like lower body and shoulders. I don't know. And also, what is your favorite cheat meal? I'm not big on sweets, so I won't say like cake or anything like that, but for sure, like salty foods. I love chips, I love pizza, I love buffalo wings, I love fries. It's gonna be like anything salty, really. Gil G. Doe asked, how many times a day do you eat and around what time? At this point, I eat like my 3 meals, and I probably have like 2 to 3 snacks throughout the day. One thing is that I've noticed about myself is that I am a grazer, which means I like to eat throughout the day constantly. meaning I cannot go hours and hours without eating. Like, I know I talked about intermittent fasting at one point, which I still implement, by the way. If I feel like, you know, maybe the day before I like went overboard on like really salty food or whatever, I'll do an intermittent fast through the night and I won't eat until, you know, my intermittent fast is over, which is usually around like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That I can do, but I can't like eat something in the morning and then go hours and hours and hours and hours without eating. That will just get me irritable. I will get hangry. The minute I start to eat something, I will be eating here and there. I just like to do that. I don't know why. That's just how I am. So I always have snacks with me. Every time we're gonna go run errands, I usually like grab something so I can eat while we're out running errands, stuff like that. So, and now at this point and with my new goals, I don't know how many times I'll be eating. It's probably gonna be a lot more frequently, but yeah. So definitely starving yourself is not the way to lose weight either. You do need to make sure you are eating enough, because then your body's just gonna hold on to whatever it can get because it's thinking, hey, she never feeds me or he never feeds me, so I'm not gonna burn this off. Kim Tovar Beauty asks, is it hard to resist the junk food? And kind of like I answered before, not really. Like if it's sweets or something like that, I'm just not someone that jumps like right into like, oh, give me that piece of cake or whatever. I've never been like that. But if it's like Takis, like chips, hot Cheetos, then that gets a little bit harder for me. But at the end of the day, I've also become that type of person that like, let me have like a taste, like a couple. Like if we are to eat, my husband gets a burger and fries and stuff, I'll just be like, hey, can I bum a couple fries off of you? And that's kind of like all I need to like satisfy a craving. All right, so that pretty much answers, oh, I think I didn't answer one question. It was about how many calories I burned during a workout. Be like mindful that everyone is different depending on like your age, your body size, your height, what you're doing. Calorie burn, I really don't know like how much emphasis you need to have on that, but for me personally, I usually will burn 300 to 400 in a workout. So that basically wraps up this video, this Q&A. I hope you guys, I gave you a better understanding of like where I'm at, where I've been with my weight loss and everything. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I am just so thankful and grateful for all the help that I've gotten and the support, and I'm just like really happy I decided to make this change now. I don't know what 2019 holds. I feel like there will be a lot of new changes in that too in this upcoming year, but whatever they are, I'm ready for it. So if you guys have new goals for this upcoming year, or if you yourself have been like kind of hesitant to start something like this, do it now. Like there's no sense in waiting any longer. It's just like about making those small changes today and then just continuing to make small, better changes for yourself as time goes on. And at this point, like I said, it's like a lifestyle for me. I don't feel like I'm doing work. I don't feel like I'm in the like, oh my God, I can't wait for this like 12-week program to be over. And it's just part of like what I do now. So I'm really happy about that. So I hope this video was informative. I hope I got you guys up to speed on exactly where I'm at and everything. And if you have any other questions, ask them down below, or, you know, ask them on Instagram, Twitter, or whatever. But make sure you do follow me on Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter, where you can kind of keep more up to date on what's happening in my journey. But other than that, thank you for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.